Welcome to the podcast Konmoto. My name is Christina Petersen. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner and I live in Germany, in northern Germany. And I created this podcast around about 1 year ago. And once I had a nice talk with my guest, which is today Marcela. She's the second time here, but she is like me. She can talk a lot of languages. At least I know she can talk Spanish and English. So Marcela, nice to have you again. And please, where are you at the moment? Tell me, please.
Where am I? I'm in Argentina. I'm in Buenos Aires. Here I work. Nowadays, I'm working only online, as most of the practitioners around the world. But here is my practice in Buenos Aires. Though I love traveling and I do speak several languages, and I sometimes travel with the representing the IFF around the world and doing some stuff, but mainly my work is here in Buenos Aires. Here's my practice, and I work with general public, and I specialized my practice with high performance athletes and dancers.
Oh, that's very interesting because I had in the last time 2 talks with people who are also working with athletes. That's with Edward Yu and also with Krešimir Zos.
I know.
And you are the third one. Maybe that's the thing we can talk about. But today we will talk about something other, what you did amazing. You made videos. But I come back. You said something some second ago about IFF. What is the IFF? You are doing work for the IFF.
Yeah, the IFF is a very important part of my work and my trajectory. I can talk a little bit about that, which is one of my big passions, to interconnect the countries and the communities. It is the International Feldenkrais Federation, IFF. And the aim of this organization is to interlace different points of view from the method, from the different people in different countries, in different languages, different cultures, different social environments, cultural, religious, I don't know, everything gets there like in a interconnection of ways and points of views of the method. And this is something I really love, like seeing things from different perspectives is something I'm very, very fond of.
Wonderful. So when we think about videos and we have such a bright community of Feldenkrais practitioners around the world. So also this podcast is showing that I have conversation from practitioners from Taiwan or South Africa, South America, from North America. So Europe is also represented, of course. I think there's a big center of practitioners there. Something also Australia, New Zealand, I forgot about it. And yes, it is then maybe not so easy to create videos for such a community of what will work for everyone. When I think about language, and also about how to engage people or what can be understand in each country and everywhere on the world.
Yes, this was an enormous challenge. And as I am a photographer, an artistic photographer, I also love the communication without words, without many words, like images. So I was very in contact with that idea, but it also was an enormous challenge to express the deepness of the method through short images that would reach different kind of people in very few minutes, because the people who were working at that time, the films were made, I think maybe 5 years ago, around there, And the people, we were not in the lockdown. People were not so fond of social media at that time. But the people that I work with, because I created divine teamworks, professionals who were very refined. I made them to work with me, which was a big challenge as well. And they all told me that this had to be extremely short. How could I express this big method? I thought 15 minutes, 10, they said 1 minute. It's what young people and most of the people pay attention in social media. So I had to reach different cultures, different languages, no words, and 1 minute.
And it sounds like it's the first time you had to deal with moving pictures.
Yes, yes, yes. I had my eye as a photographer. I had ideas. I had a very clear idea of lights and colors, but I had to find someone who would take that into movement. And the first time I contacted a very young man who by that time was unknown. His name is Mariano Nante, and then he won several prizes. Now he's very famous in Argentina, but on that time nobody knew him. So that was my capacity to, seeing it from now backwards, to pick him as in intuitive ways, seeing so much potential in him, which was, I don't know why or how did I capture that from him, but he had it. And he was a young man studying films and arts and all these things, and he was great. And then I worked with different people. The team went on changing and changing, with each film I worked with different people. This was the first one, Feldenkrais Moments, and he was the one that told me that this should be not more than 1 minute 20 or 1 minute and a half, one and a half minute. This was his first indication.
But on the other hand, you as a photographer, you are used to have less than a second. How
Yes.
to catch the eye of
Yes.
someone who is looking at, and that he not only sees, okay, it's a house or it's a hand. It's
No.
what? That something so normal will be let the person stop and
Yes.
wow, I never
Yes.
thought like this. This is new. This gives me some feeling, some emotion. And I think 1 minute is quite good.
Yes, I specialize as a photographer in capturing the movement in the stillness. And I have published some books about, they are called Soul and Body and Soul. And it's about reflecting in stillness, in not moving, the movement that it is beyond that photography. This is my way of working as a photographer. So I had that skill already in my mind.
How did you manage with the different languages? Is there any speaking inside or to express something, or only pictures, or
No, the idea was, which I had several difficulties with, because many practitioners were pushing me to add more and more language and more explanations. So we worked with the idea of expressing the perfume of the method, like the sensation. We were working as when in advertising you're selling a perfume. You cannot sell how is the sense, how is the smell of the perfume. The same idea, we worked on that idea. So we were wanting to transmit emotions, sensations, like the beginning of something that is interesting to be explored, something interesting to taste. That was the main idea, and I was very firm in not having many words in there. But we did use, for every film I did in the end, I think they were 5 or 6, and then I made some institutional movies as well. We did choose to have one quote from Moshe in each film at the end, and every quote was then translated to 11 languages.
Very
That
good.
was all. That was all.
And the film is only 1 minute, or the films in general are around about this time. And how many people were engaged for the film?
Tons of people and time. And we were more than one day filming, and there were students and practitioners and assistant trainers watching the ideas. And this man who was the filmmaker had people, very specialized people working with the light, because I had decided to work with a Scandinavian light, which is, there's a kind of magazine of Scandinavian furniture, which is called Kinfolk. I don't know if you know it.
Yes. So I think I'm very close to Scandinavia. I'm familiar. If you say something Scandinavian light and
Yes.
colors, yes, yes.
Well, in fact, this idea appeared to me, and I offered this to the IFF while I was in the meeting in Malmo, in Sweden.
Oh.
Yeah. So everything started there, and I had a very little room, and I had my camera always on. And in Sweden and in Malmo it's by the seaside, and the sun gets down and then stays there for a long time. Maybe it's, I don't know, 12 in the night or 2 in the morning, and the sun is still there. And that is a very special light that for me represented that moment between the intention and the action, because the sun is like suspended there, and you don't know if it's really going down or going up or what's going on. And that was my biggest inspiration, like how many things the sun was saying there, being still. And I could see the sun by the sea, but the sun wouldn't go down and wouldn't go up and wouldn't go anywhere. And at the same time, it was going in different directions. That's why I was deeply inspired by the Scandinavian light.
Yes.
And colors. Yes.
I love this time, and I love to travel more far up in the north. So where I live, we can go out during June at 11 o'clock for a walk through the wood. And I know this light, and
Yeah.
more far up in the north, it's yeah, I know what you mean. I had this, and I
Yeah.
think it's such a good example how creativity works.
Yeah.
And how it is all about connections, that we do something, and something is without any content, I would say, but everyone can understand, who had a nice sundown or golden, I think sometimes it's also called golden hour, the time where, for example, you want to shoot a film, you don't have to paint the faces of the actors, because the light is so beautiful, and everyone looks so, yes, golden in this time. And it's the going from one to the other. But really, in these areas during the summertime, it stays. And I think this also happens in Feldenkrais lessons. We bring everything in one kindness is something that we bring something to standing still. But on the other hand, this is the moment you can look in each direction, like you said, and explore what is in this moment. It's like a time expanse. The time expand in this time. Yeah. I think the English word is something like a time lapse or this.
Yeah,
yes.
Probably yes.
Yes. Yeah. And the light is something what tells this. That, oh, now I know why I like these videos so much.
Yes, you will see in the videos, the light is very special. And it's the metaphor of that moment where maybe you're doing something very, very little, or maybe you're just waiting, and a lot of things are going on inside you and around you. And this was, and also in Sweden, I remember seeing the sea through my window, and the window was misty. And this is something I also used in the film. There's a part of the film which is filmed through a glass of water. And it's also the metaphor of how we see things through different glasses, or our eyes, or our mood, or our emotions. Yes, this is, there's a lot behind that 1 minute.
Yes, but
yes.
I think I can see this, so I know now exactly why I wanted to talk with you about the films and what is behind us, because I saw it immediately that it is so touching and giving so much impact. And it's sometimes I thought, would someone understand who never did something with Feldenkrais? But it's so beautiful. It speaks to the inner self of someone, and who gets to the end will be thinking, oh, maybe the Feldenkrais stuff, it's interesting. And also I think what's new with these videos is at first it is represented, the Feldenkrais method. It is the first video I saw. Yes. Was so good, made with such a high quality.
Yes.
And really something very different from what I saw before, how people did pictures and this. It was so sensual. It was giving like a smell of the method, and not so much like explaining or I don't know. Maybe it's also a turning point how we as a practitioner thinking about how we can present our method.
Yes, and when I presented in the next assembly, which was in Berlin, in the IFF assembly, I was very frightened because it was something very different. And for my surprise, some practitioners who were there in the audience started to cry. So I said, wow, something is happening. And yes, every time you do something kind of different artistically, it's frightening, because it's not the usual way to express or to sell something. And seeing some tears in some men's faces was the sign that told me something's going to work with this. This is opening a door, and the idea was to open a door, not to close it.
Yeah. So the good thing is we are doing this also with a recording video, and we can look the video. We don't have only to tell about it. And so I will start to show it. I go here, and maybe you can tell us something about it, or we can stop at a point.
No, here where you opened, it's the IFF website where everyone can purchase for free the video. You can know this in archive in the set, and you can find it in all the languages, and you can have it for your website, for your social media, for your phone. You cannot re-edit it. Please don't do that. Don't change it. Hmm? Because I had that too.
Yes. So I start.
Yeah. You can, yeah, there, yes. You can see the film starts with a shadow, not even with the body. And you see, it's always it's always in natural life, the light. There are no artificial lights. And here, you will see there is like a flashback.
Ah.
Did you see that? And here's the glass. Yeah, it's a flashback. We have 3 flashbacks in the film. It's a father with his son. It's a dancer and a musician who, during an Feldenkrais lesson, they go backwards to their life, to their habitual life, and to their everyday life. So there's the young man taking some kind of mixture of an ATM on an F5, remembering, and he has the relation with his son while he's going through the process.
Yes.
So you will see that through the film 3 times.
Okay. I
Yeah,
went.
you can go. No, you can go back on, and you can see, and it's several times. You will see it again and again. You will see a dancer, a musician, and the young man with his son.
Wonderful. So
Yeah.
we're coming back to.
Yeah. There's a flashback.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Here's the glass. You see something in between the images? Here is like peeping through a door. And she's a dancer, and she has her flashback in her dance, and she's still in the lesson. And she goes back in her memory to her performance. And he's a musician, and while he's training, he goes to his drums. And here's the idea of softness that I wanted to express, of simplicity. Here, the legend is in Spanish, but you can find it in 11 languages. So I don't know if it's at the end it was 1 minute 43. It's less than 2 minutes, yes. This was the first one.
Yes, but I have to say that's not so long. There's so many inside this. And really, I think it's the first time I saw the flashbacks. So I
You
saw
see?
it, so interesting. But
Yeah.
you bring my awareness to something, then you can see this. That's so interesting. I remember all the feelings I had by seeing this, and also that it was really an emotional impact for me to see this. And but the flashbacks, I don't know. I forgot about them, or I can't remember them. But really nice idea to see this. Yes, very good.
The flashbacks have a different timing. People are moving slowly, and when they go to a flashback, it's like lots of images very quick, which is also a metaphor of the method, that we do things very slowly to then be able to get into action whatever life asks us to do, being with a young baby or dancing or performing music or whatever, or running, or as I told you, when I work with athletes or dancers, how the slowness takes us to be more and more efficient.
Yes. Yeah. that's a key point. It's a
Yeah.
basic thing that it's better to step back and to review and to see and to
Yeah.
explore than really fast at the end. How was it with your videos? Was this the first video and then you had to wait maybe 2 years and to make new, or you shoot every video in a row?
This
Or,
was the first one, and in order to the response of the first one, they were going to ask me for more or not. So this was kind of a
oh.
yes, like a test in some way to see what happened. And the impact was so big, so enormous, so unexpected, because I never thought it had such a big impact. And it kind of made a turning point with all Feldenkrais communication, because then other videos appeared and also different things started to happen because also we were shifting into social media communication, which at that time wasn't so potent, and now it is. So it was like a big jump. And after seeing this impact, the IFF asked me to do one more or two more, and I did 5 more, I think, 5 more videos. Yes.
And I can go back immediately to the site from the IFF and maybe we can see another one. Which
Yes. I have to tell that the second ones and the other ones, I worked in a team with Diana Sternbach, who is an assistant trainer. And I worked with different filmmakers. I tried different ways. I didn't continue with the same team. And I went to South Patagonia, where Diana lives, to be in real contact with nature. Because one of the, sorry, and before doing the next films, I now I'm remembering this. There were very big pages, white pages, where every representative from every country wrote down their ideas of what a film should have. So I had a big list to fulfill the ideas and the needs of the practitioners and the representatives of every country that belongs to the IFF.
oh,
Yes, so there was a big need to introduce more children, more babies, people from different ages and difficulties, sports, outdoors. Yeah, there was an enormous list that I had to take in account to do the next films.
yeah, but it sounds like that you had these lists and it isn't a pressure for you. It was more something what was a fountain for inspiration for you.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I thanked that list because it guided me. So it was very, very useful. Yes, yes, because I really wanted to be representing the needs of many practitioners, not mine. So that was very important for me, extremely important and useful. Yes.
Wonderful.
The other one that most people like, it's Feldenkrais Babies, or in Spanish, it's Feldenkrais y Bebés. It's very, very, very short. And people from Child Space, from Feldenkrais, they love this little film. It's very, very short. It's very, very simple.
Yeah, and this was shot in Patagonia.
Yes.
But you stay with your style with the light. I see.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Always natural light. Always natural light. It was the sun through the windows. It was very early in the morning. It was through the woods that the sun got there. And there were big lakes where the sun was reflected. Yes. Yes, and then you can see more of that in Feldenkrais Outdoors, which is in the mountain.
Maybe I can start with this video first.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's because let's see which one is now. Yes.
So, Marcela,
See?
I have to say to you, when I saw this, that the first time this video,
Yeah.
I was so touched, because when I did my training, my third child was in this stage, like you see the people on the floor trying like to come to something like crawling, like the baby before.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was so funny when I did, I think it was the third segment. So I missed the second because I gave birth to my, but it was the third segment, and we did the same what he did all day long. And maybe someone who isn't so much in the Feldenkrais world thinks, why should I do this? Yeah. And I'm grown up. I can walk. I left it behind, the crawling time. But really, in this point, I can say, please go to a practitioner, look for Feldenkrais lessons in online or something else. Try this, or lie down and try to do some movements which are not with a clear idea. Because if you're so young as a baby, you don't know that there is a crawling, yes, or what does you try everything, and suddenly you are, maybe you have your bottom up, you're on your knees, and then you look around and see, oh, that's maybe the way to get up and to run. So I saw this with my third child. I was more observing these situations, that he looked around, okay, that's maybe a way to come up, like they all around me are going on their feet and I'm always on the floor. And I was at the same time in my training to do this again. And really what happened to me was a refining of my walking in this moment, because I went back to a time when I wasn't walking, but preparing myself for walking. Yes, and I think this video is so obvious and so cool. So can I go on?
Yes, 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 because when we crawl, there's a special way that the spine is and the shoulder blades work that we never do it again. That's why we're going back to that.
Oh,
every time we can do that, we should go back to force. Another thing that was in the list were the eyes. We needed more eyes in the film. So here I paid very much attention to the function of the eyes in relation to the movement. Because in the first film, which I don't know why, most of the people are with their eyes closed, which wasn't the idea, but it happened. You know, in art, these things happen. So here I paid very, very much attention to the babies and the grown-ups in relation to what are they doing with their eyes while they move.
Yeah, this is also such a thing what is organizing our time. We want to see something or we hear something, we turn our eyes to this where the noise is coming from.
Sure. You will see this in the next minutes. It's one of the main ideas that I want you to pay very close attention in this little video.
Okay. Yeah, it's so such an eye catcher. For me, it's tons of explaining and understanding the Feldenkrais methods so deep. You saw the people, the grown-ups standing there exploring their feet, how they are standing, and before they were on their front side and also playing with the feet around. Because as a baby you do this, or you see this little boy or girl there, it's not important, but
no,
they, each one who knows babies, they are the fingers in the mouth, but they immediately, it will try to bring them to the mouth and play with the food. And this is so interesting, and sometimes I'm really think about why we are so focused on doing something like training, or when we train our running, we run more, or we look how other people run, which technique they use. But maybe everything is explained in this, what the three little babies are doing here, that we go back to the floor and then running, or everything is really much more easier after this. Yes. So I think it's not so important that it was in Spanish, and maybe some, because it's so much talking without what is written after this, because it's so obvious with the light, with the people, and that there is in development. So what I understand from beginning on the floor and really, and at the end is the crawling, the standing up, and to be, yes, human, but we don't learn this in the way, put your hand there and here and there. It's only by playing around, finding possibilities,
Exploring.
exploring. Yeah.
Having a safe environment to explore. We were very delicate with the babies. We had a lot of babies. I don't know if they were 10. I can find you a very beautiful film. I don't know where I have it right now, which is the making of, all the backstage of the film. I'll search it and I'll send it to you because it's beautiful. You see all the moms with the babies. I think there were 10 babies. Then there's Feldenkrais Outdoors, and you see 20 kids, children for different ages. And there's tons of people behind every scene. And everything was so warm and safe and taking care of everyone. And it was all in a Feldenkrais way done, everything. Before, during the film, after the film. Um, and every time we had any kind of conflict, we went back to the Feldenkrais principles, like saying, well, let's stop a little bit, let's make a pause, everybody maybe share a cup of tea and take a walk, and then we'll meet in 1 or 2 hours and see what happens. No, we did that things because we wouldn't be forcing a situation or forcing a baby to crawl or forcing a baby to stand up. We wouldn't do that at all. So we were applying all that we know and we teach in our lessons through the film, and this was beautiful, and this was really beautiful. Just there, it was a deep learning process.
And how did you find all the mothers with the baby in the right moment, in the right age? Because we know
Yeah,
that some babies go through this maybe with 6 months, some need 9 months,
yeah,
maybe some really faster, or or someone is ill. And
yeah. I know. We were a big team. I was kind of the project leader. Everything was in my mind. I had a cousin who lives near Bariloche, and she had at that time 4 children. And I asked her to come into the into the plateau, and we'll see what happens with your children. And then then she was pregnant. After the film, she was pregnant. So this was very beautiful too. And I am the, how do you say it in English? The godmother of that baby, who was her 5th child. So I did that. I took my son too. My youngest son for that time was, I think, 8 years old. Diana, who put the place, because this is her studio, Diana Sternbach gathered her students and babies and grandmothers with babies, and she did that work. I don't know. And there were some practitioners from around the area who also helped and brought their grandchildren or sons or daughters. And we were working as a very big community, interlaced. And I was there like kind of these people who worked with puppets, like with all the strings in my mind, seeing what could be useful in every time, taking care of everything. And yeah, and it was a lot of people, there were big groups of people working there. There was one man filming, and then he didn't continue, and then there was another person editing, and then it was me supervising absolutely everything. It was a big job. Yes, it was a very big job.
wow, thank you
Yes,
for doing this
you're
all.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
And I had to travel from Buenos Aires to Bariloche, so I wasn't at home, and that was also challenging for me. Yes.
Yes, that's one point, to be a
Yes.
mother and to have great ideas and how
Yes.
to organize everything. But thank you, you found a way, and I think there was not only a big community at the place, there was also, yes, a basic support at home for you.
Yes, there was. Yes, yes. But the basis of all our work, or my work, was to find cooperation and collaboration. It wasn't a vertical structure that I created. It was my ideas, my leadership, but I always opened the dialogue in a very horizontal way. So everyone could come with some idea or something that happened and we didn't had it in the plans, and we took it, or we made the children just play and we watched them and see, well, maybe this is interesting. It wasn't like a pyramid, like I'm leading this and we are doing this and this. We were playing, we were trying, we were taking rests. Some of the shoots were taken while we were resting, and we saw a baby crawling or playing in the garden, or children's going up and down a hill. You can see that in the film, which is called Feldenkrais for Everyday Life. And we were just resting, and the children were going up and down the hill, and they were doing it in force, or running, or rolling, or I don't know. And I said, "This is wonderful. Let's take it," and then we use it. So we were working in a very Feldenkrais mood all the time, as much as we could.
Wonderful. And so there was one film, and this was shot a single, only this, and the other ones were together. Now you with the babies, with the outdoors, and this was you went to Patagonia, or this?
In Patagonia, with all the material I got from Patagonia, I did 4. It was Feldenkrais Babies, Feldenkrais Outdoors, Feldenkrais for Everyday Life. No, sorry, this is 3. Then we did one in Buenos Aires with a baby who had some special needs, with an assistant trainer whose name is Andrea Gus. She is the organizer of the Argentine training, and it's called Dignity, and it's beautiful. You can see it there. So that's the 4th, and Feldenkrais Moments was the 5th. I think in the total it was, I'm missing one, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. And then I made some films for the IFF materials. And then I made a film for the IFF as an institution. What's the aim of the IFF? And it's called Working Together. And I did some more things. And I'm working now in a new book with all these ideas of expressing movement with images.
Very nice. Very. I like this.
Yes, I have. Let's see if I have something here. I can show you a little bit about the IFF film if you want. You want me to? I cannot share. You don't have it.
Oh yes,
Sorry.
but I can give you immediately the host, and then
Because your first question was about the IFF, and wait, and this was a film made to explain the community what the IFF is.
now it should work.
Wait. Am I?
Ah, interesting. So this is Moshe Feldenkrais.
Yes, but the idea is the enrichment from different cultures from around the world. This is how the IFF works, giving support, facing difficulties that each country can have. The voting that takes place when some ideas come. This is the competency profile which I work with, encouraging practitioners to work, to be more potent. Always with the idea to have a constructive dialogue. This is the way we work, and I work, and I try to work. And this is the materials where I have, I'm volunteer with all the materials in the IFF. And it's the old material that we take care of with the storage and everything, the translations. And maybe some people don't know about this.
And also, I think it's important to show that there's such a lot work behind this. So Feldenkrais, the Feldenkrais method is around the world, but it's really new. And there are only a few things of material, and this has to be like, it's a treasure, but there is something you need to look at it. Someone has to, yes, to have it in the house and to look after it, that we will have it for other generations too. Not only the Feldenkrais practitioner can communicate in between, also that the material will be kept for the next generation and so on.
Yes, it's a big challenge. We are a very new profession. We have 40 years working, but there's a big change in generations coming soon, and we have to take care of this legacy. Before my films, there were some photos made by a professional too, and then comes all the videos professionally made that we were talking about, and this is the website, and this is our platform. See, this are all the photos that all practitioners can gather for free to use in their websites, in their pages. Robert Gold was the photographer.
Yes.
These are the places where there are Feldenkrais associations. This is the competency profile. Someday I will talk to you about this. This is to help the bridge between the practice and creating a profession.
You do so many things. Really amazing.
Yes.
But what do you say to people when they say, "Oh, Marcela, how do you do this? What is, yeah, why can you do all this?"
I ask to myself, how can I not do it? Because I would do much more. Yes, this is easy for me. It's my passion. An artist needs to create art, and I feel in my environment when I'm doing this kind of things, it's really easy for me. It's not that it doesn't take work, it does, but it flows. It's something, it's whenever some creativity is needed, or some playing images, I'm always offering myself, because it's where I unfold my potential on its best. It's something I really love to do it. Yes. I don't remember it as a hard time. On the contrary, it was very fruitful, and I don't know, it was joyful, playful. It was a gift. Yes. And when you are in that mood, you're very creative and very flexible and available. I don't know, things pop into my mind. Now I'm not creating none of these films, and no new films at all. So I don't know, I'm not in the mood. But in the moment that I'm in the mood, I started like unfolding ideas. I was asked to do one film, and I ended doing around 7. So yes, I like to do that very, very much. Very, very much, yes.
But you stay with this creating other things, not videos, but your books, and sometimes you on social media. You are also on Instagram and Facebook.
Everywhere, yes. Yes.
Yeah, you once there was in a gallery and your photos and this all
Yes.
really. I like your style and thank you that you again be my guest. It's so inspiring to talk with you. And I like to ask, really, at the
Yes.
end. I think every time I say I'm a little bit running out, I think every question I had in mind is, was there some more? So much insights. Thank you, Marcela. But is that something you want to send out at the end? Something what? Yeah, I don't know.
Like a message or something like that?
Message or something you say, oh, Christina, you didn't ask this. So now is the moment you can say, wow, this is important to tell about. I forgot.
Well, no, I would like to talk a little bit or create consciousness or awareness about what's the competency profile is. It's a tool that I'm working with in the training and in post trainings. I have just finished a lovely workshop with the Mexican Guild that they have invited me. I work this in Spanish or in English, and it's a wonderful profile and a wonderful tool to help people to to create a real profession. We sometimes finish the training and we are kind of floating in emotions and sensations, and it's sometimes a little bit difficult to get grounded, to earn money, to organize our business, to be visible, and the films and the photos are one of the means to be really visible. We cannot contact new people if we know we are not visible out there. People have to see us in some way. So this is something I'm training myself, and I'm teaching since the last 10 years around the world. I trained first in the States, then in Italy, then in Germany. I was going to travel to Germany this year and I couldn't, so here I am. And this is something that is growing more deep, more sensitive, and more efficient for the practitioners. This is something I am having as the feedback, that practitioners get stronger, they are more aware of their strength and not so focused in their weakness. We all have weakness, or if we focus in our weakness, we focus in a different way. Maybe we can learn something from there. And the films are also in that way of, we have to be visible, we have to get there, we have to find a way to have new students, to express our way as a real profession. And this is something, it's really in my way of teaching, in my ATM lessons, in my FI lessons, and with other practitioners, like kind of mentoring groups where we can talk without judging, without finding the right answer, just opening questions to see what's below another question, what can be unfolded. So this is something I would like to invite people to be curious of. It's the competency profile. Now it has also another name, which is my potent self, because it's all about feeling more potent and more secure to work. So I'm creating this invitation to the world.
Yeah. And I think your work is so deep for the community and also for your people at home, that everyone can hear that you're really serious about like supporting the development and potential of each person, colleagues, and of course people who are only like doing Feldenkrais for themselves. Sure. That's so nice to see, and your flames.
Yes,
Nice.
now I have a very big teacher because I have a grandson. So I am going back to all the evolution of the baby that we all have in our system. And I have this big gift. I cannot be with him very much because of this situation of the COVID, but I have his films every day and I see how he's evolving. So I also have this gift that I want to share, to go back, as in the films, to these first steps we all took in life that are there, and how we can rebuild them also. Some babies didn't crawl, or some babies had some injuries, and we can relearn, and we cannot. And we as humans always are looking for knowing a little bit more about us, even we don't say it. We want to learn. It's in an innate nature to want to learn and to be in contact with love in the most noble way, just not harming each other. So this is my pathway too.
Yes, congratulations, your
Thank you.
grandson. And I think that's so nice. It's such a good end. And I will be quiet now and only say goodbye, that people can really be with your words. Thank you for this. So goodbye, Marcela.
Thank you. Thank you.